Hello and welcome everybody to another StarCraft 2 cast by Glitch. Today I'm going to be casting for you a best of 3 from the EG Masters Cup. I have cast several of these games from this tournament already. I don't know, I just never watch these games and I really want to see them because there's so many incredibly good players playing in them. So I just want to always download replays from there and watch them. And I figure as long as I'm watching them, I might as well be casting them. So the best of 3 I'm going to be casting is between the two teams mouzSports and Fnatic MSI. Spawning here in the bottom right corner of Shakuras Plateau, playing for Fnatic MSI, we have NightEnD. Spawning here in the top left position, playing for mouzSports, we have mouzMaNa. Now, if you may have already noticed, both of these players are going to be Protoss players. It's been a while since I've casted any mirror matchups at all, and every now and then you do need to get a mirror match in just because, I don't know, sometimes people like to see mirror matchups. People like to know how to play their PvP and their ZVZ and their TVT. So every now and then I start to feel like, oh man, I haven't casted a mirror matchup in a while. So of course now I am going to be casting this mirror matchup between these two amazing Protoss players. mouzMaNa is, of course, a Polish Protoss player, again for the team mouzSports, and I think NightEnD is actually a Romanian StarCraft 2 player. So we got a couple different parts of Europe here battling it out in this EG Masters Cup best of 3. So let's see how both of these players are going to be opening right now. Both players so far very similar. If we check out the production tab, going for very similar builds. The gateways are just about even. Looks like NightEnD is just a smidgen ahead of his friend by about a couple of seconds, but on everything so far, pylon now being thrown down. One final little difference there between both of these players. Looks like there is going to be an extra pylon. There's the pylon coming down now for NightEnD, and it looks like both of them are going to be finishing up that gateway. It's definitely very common in this matchup to do that 4-gate push that is oh so popular, but as we can see here, there's a little bit of difference in the way that both of these players are using their Nexus energy. As you can see, NightEnD is actually saving up a bit of his energy there. He's got his Cybernetics core coming up right now. He could potentially be going for some kind of early 4-gate pressure, but he is throwing down that other gas geyser, so it would be a little bit strange of a 4-gate to do at this point. You can see that mouzMaNa has actually managed to get a little bit of chrono boost more on his Nexus, meaning that he is going to be a little bit ahead. Let's check out that Harvester tab right now. Yeah, there we go. We can see that he is actually 1 Harvester ahead right now, and now he's actually 2 Harvesters ahead because he spent 1 extra chrono boost on this Nexus. That is definitely going to help him out in the long run, just because, as I've mentioned in previous casts, if you have a mirror matchup, if you are just 1 probe ahead of your opponent, you are in a good spot. You definitely always want to be at least 1 probe ahead, and 1 probe can make quite a difference in the long run. Now in the meantime, we have a little bit of aggression here coming from NightEnD as he sits here and tries to get a free probe kill. This 1 probe is actually really low, and he's now forcing, did I say NightEnD? mouzMaNa is the one that's doing the probe harassing. NightEnD about to lose a probe there, and it looks like the Stalker is now finally off, and will he be able to pick it off? Yes, looks like he is actually going to be able to pick it off, thus evening out that worker count just a little bit more. Yeah, now you can see they're just about even there, and it looks like mouzMaNa just hung around a little bit too long, didn't get a probe kill off of that, and then lost a probe in the process. So in the base of mouzMaNa right now, we can see that a robotics facility has just now gone down for mouzMaNa. This is a build that has been gaining popularity, and it's a build that I really like, just because it's really solid against 4-gates, and just because 4-gates are so common in the PvP matchup, then it's just really good to get out those early immortals that really do a lot of damage to those stalkers. So absolutely love that play here from mouzMaNa. Currently got 3 gates up. Looks like he may be getting ready to expand here. In the meantime, he's got 1 stalker that's going up to his opponent's base. Looks like he's going to poke in a little bit, see if he can't see what is going on in his opponent's base. In the base of NightEnD, we can see that there are currently 3 gateways up and a robotics facility just now coming up. So looks like NightEnD is going to be going for a similar build, but different timed. He built these in a different order from his opponent. His opponent got up gateways and then the robotics facility, whereas mouzMaNa got up that early robotics facility. This is, of course, going to mean that he's going to be a little bit less on his gateway units, but of course his robotics facility, now that it is up, is going to get that observer up very quickly, and he's going to be able to get into his opponent's base and see exactly what is going on. Now, interestingly enough, MANA is actually quite ahead right now in the food count right now. We can see that despite being down on harvesters, he's actually doing very, very well in the food count. Currently 41 to 34 food. I didn't even realize why that happened. I don't know if NightEnD just got supply blocked there for a little bit or what, but he is now just a little bit behind. There we go. Now we have some units warping in there from NightEnD. That is going to be evening out the food count just a tad. Looks like Immortals are now on the way for both of these players. So both of these players are going to be going for 3-gate robo mixes where they're going to be going for gateway units and Immortals. Now, this can be a very important moment as the composition that these players go for can be critical, just because different compositions will play very, very differently against each other. Despite the fact that they have the same production structures up, you're going to see huge differences in playstyle. Now, we do have a robotics bay now going down for mouzMaNa, and in the base of NightEnD, we actually have a Twilight Council going down. So we're finally seeing some deviation here between these two players' builds. Of course, MANA is also now throwing down his expansion. Now, what does this mean for MANA? This means that he is now going to be a little bit behind in the army count. He just spent 400 minerals on this Nexus and is now going to be just a tad behind, and all these the forces of NightEnD at this moment is going to be just a little bit stronger unless he decides to expand on his own. Now it looks like both players have an observer out, and they are going to be able to pick that observer off. I think NightEnD might be able to get it. One more shot. Yep, looks like he does pick off that observer there, so nice little pick off there from NightEnD. And is NightEnD expanding? No, at the moment it looks like NightEnD is just going to continue to go for more army units and go for a big push here. Now we do have Blink coming up here, so one thing that's becoming very, very popular in the Protoss matchup is using this early observer to scout up onto the high ground here and then blink up into the main. Definitely a very, very popular strategy, and considering that MANA is going for a heavy economic play right now with this big expansion, then he could be here in a lot of trouble. NightEnD now throwing down a Nexus of his own as he pushes out, and we now see there's actually a forward pylon here by MANA. Didn't even see that go down. Now, but as you can see, this observer is getting into position here, getting ready for those Blink Stalkers. Once they are ready, that Blink is getting done. It is getting chrono boosted right now by NightEnD as he gets that expansion up. Let's check out that harvester count right now, as we can see that NightEnD is actually still ahead right now. That means that MANA's had to cut a few probes here. Yeah, as you can see, he's not even building any probes right now. Definitely don't want to be in that position there. Want to keep up in the probe production in mirror matchups as much as possible, but of course MANA does know what he's doing, so if he's cutting probes, it is for a very good reason. Now we can see that NightEnd's been scouting around with this observer. I think as soon as this blink is done, yeah, it is now done. Looks like he's going to be scouting up onto this high ground. There is a pylon that is going to be in the way, and I think MANA can actually I think MANA can actually see some of those stalkers there, and will they be blinking up onto that high ground? A lot of stalkers up here doing a little bit of harassment there, managed to take out that pylon. That's a free 100 minerals that NightEnD just took away from MANA that he is never going to get back. Not to mention, MANA is now supply blocked with the threat of pressure at the front, but Colossi are now out. Extended Thermal Lance rather, is now on the way as well. Blink is now up. Robotics Bay now coming down for NightEnD, so he's going to be getting up some later Colossi, but he's going to have a much larger gateway force just because he's been producing out of those gateways for quite a while here. Now, so we have a little bit of a heavier Robotech here from MANA, so this is going to be an interesting composition to see clash and go up against each other, just because there are more Robo units here, but of course there are a lot more gateway units here for NightEnD. So NightEnD continuing to poke in, be very, very aggressive with these Blink Stalkers. Absolutely love that play there from NightEnD. Blink Stalkers, of course, very, very mobile units. You should be using them to poke in, especially in PvP. Unless your opponent has Blink, you can just kind of come in, poke, do some damage, and then just blink right back again, and they can almost never catch you. So it's definitely a wise move. Now, he is going to be, I don't know what that little blink was for, but he's now going to be taking down the destructible rocks in the back. Look like he's going to be trying to move up here to blink up into this high ground position. And does MANA know that this is happening? MANA, I don't think, is aware that this damage is being done here to these destructible rocks. But there is, of course, no ramp here or anything that he needs to be worried about. He's going to come around and try to corner the forces of NightEnD right now. What is NightEnD going to be able to do? NightEnD is going to, if he blinks up here, he could actually be in a very, very bad position because his opponent's forces are just right here and pretty much has him cornered there. But in the meantime, he's in the base of MANA right now. He's starting to deal a lot of damage, taking down the Cybernetics Core. Yeah, it looks like that Cybernetics Core is now going to be focused down. All he has to do is sit here and wait for MANA's forces to come up here to start to defend, and once they do, he's just going to pull back. Oh no, NightEnD blinking in. Looks like he's going to get a couple of these Colossi here for free. Yes, we do see a lot of damage here being dealt. He does still have vision because of this Observer on the high ground. Didn't quite get that second Colossus. Nice little pick off there from NightEnD. In the meantime, NightEnD continuing to macro up forces here at his base. Check out that Harvester count right now. He is 10 Harvesters ahead. Holy cow, he is way ahead in the Harvester count right now, ahead of MANA. Definitely not a good position for MANA to be in, to be 10 Harvesters behind. Looks like the forces of NightEnD are starting to get rather large. The Colossus count is now above that of his opponent. 2 Colossus to the 1 of mouzMaNa. What is he going to be able to have to do to come back? MANA is not in a good position right now. He's not been producing as many workers. As you can see, look at this. He's had this natural expansion up for so much longer, but it's not even near saturated yet. He still's got at least looks like, I don't know, 4 or 6 more workers to go on there before he gets that pretty well saturated. And in the meantime, these Stalkers are just going to be blinking in here for NightEnD, dealing some damage. As you can see, this is giving NightEnD such a huge advantage right now. 121 food to the 100 food of mouzMaNa right now. That is a considerable amount to be ahead. And once the forces of MANA come, he's just going to blink down and blink away nice and safe. Love this play here from NightEnD. Absolutely love this play from NightEnD. He's using the gas while he pokes up with this group of Blink Stalkers. It's just a small group of Blink Stalkers. What is this? This is 11 Blink Stalkers right now, and he's dealing so much damage, getting so many worker kills, already 11 worker kills, and in the meantime, he's using the gas to tech up to Colossus back in his base, and he's using all the minerals, and he's using them all on getting lots of Zealots to get that Zealot count very, very high. So this means that once he has to pull back with these Stalkers, he's now going to have a force of Stalkers, Zealots, and Colossus that's going to be very, very strong against his opponent and potentially deal quite a bit of damage, of course, with those Blink Stalkers. So MANA's going to need to get up a lot more workers here very soon. I can't believe how few workers he's actually getting right now, and he's actually supply blocked right now as well. MANA definitely not doing well, making a lot of small mistakes here that you would not expect from a player as good as MANA. MANA's an absolutely amazing player. And now here comes the engagement as all the forces of NightEnD are moving in. The Stalkers blinking up onto the high ground, shooting down onto the low ground. Lots of Zealots moving in here and just crushing the forces of MANA. And now all the Colossi here just dealing lots and lots and lots of damage here. The Stalkers now blinking forward, trying to take out these Colossi, but there is nothing they can do. And mouzMaNa is going to GG out of this game, meaning NightEnD takes game 1 for Fnatic MSI. Will MANA be able to come back in game 2 of this series? Stick with me to find out.